All right, we're going to talk about the coming shift. Of course, December 21st is the solstice, and that's the shortest day and the longest night of the year. That happens every year. But what does it mean? Well, everything works together, and I want to talk about the dark, the light, what to expect for our coming times. It's really good news because I'm actually experiencing it myself, and if I am, then that is a probability right now that exists that everybody can participate in. I think you might be feeling this, but I want to share something really important with you that's going to brighten your day, hopefully your year, and take you into the golden era that's happening right now. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. What does that mean? Well, it's whatever you want it to mean. You get to choose your life here. You get to experience everything according to how you think about things. Your reality is where you focus. So I said there's consciousness at every point, and one of my students said, what's every point? And I said, wherever your focus is a point of focus within the quantum field, which is a probability. And whatever you believe and think about that creates that reality. It's so simple. It's so simple. Yet we feel like it's out of our control. We are taking control in the most peaceful, amazing, life-changing, universal-changing way. I'm here to tell you that some amazing things will be happening in 2022 and some very, very big changes. And they're all going to be good because it's transition into something new. Now there's a planet out there where people are actually fed poisons and they have mind control and they program them and they really function as if they have no free will. And that's called planet Earth. We are constantly accepting the world that is given to us by facilities and other people who are in the minority, yet they cannot have power unless we say yes and go along with it, and we're starting to say no. Wow, we've accepted that every day our life is loaded with unhealthy chemicals so that we can take more things that are bad for us to fix this. When the root of the problem, and there's really no problem, the root of the teachings is that we always had the healthy choices. We always had everything we ever needed. And anything that you thought less was self-limiting choices. And it's not always easy to be the one that steps out of that lower density matrix thinking. But we're waking up. And you're going to start seeing, it's already happening, people that have the kahunas now. The kahunas to say, I'm going to step out and reveal things that shouldn't be going on. It's happening. If you saw Instagram, you saw what's happening there. This is wrong, and this is destructive, and this should not be happening, and therefore I'm going to bring it to the public eye so that they can make a choice. And so instead of people being afraid for their lives, they're being embraced. There are doctors here on YouTube and big social media with best-selling books saying, step out of that world that's so unhealthy. We have every cure we need. We always have. But what happens is certain people will not make money off of your illness if you find this out. And we are, as a collective now, strong enough to say, we are saying no. And that's happening in a big way. And we're doing it in a peaceful way. We do not have to go into anything violent or destructive. We just have to make a higher choice. And therefore, that doesn't exist. It goes out of business. And that's the simple way for us to change the world. Now, what's going to happen with you personally? Every thought is creating. Every time you have a negative thought or you say something negative to somebody, you create. That's a frequency that's right in that quantum field. It's a frequency. It just creates, creates, creates. And therefore you will experience the repercussions from that. Now what happens if you place some really positive stuff out there? You're going to experience all that. Positive, positive, and frequencies and frequencies. And imagine them lighting up. And how beautiful that would be to actually see those frequencies. And to know that it's affecting other people. You'll see that frequency going, bing, hit somebody and they'll feel good that day. And if you were able to see our frequencies, you would know that we're transitioning into something so beautiful and we're taking action. 2022 is the year of action. Whether you like that word or not, we're in a material world. Action means we are physically going to do things in our physical world that are very high frequency. Picking up the trash on the beach, not waiting for somebody else to do it. Helping somebody, not waiting for somebody else to read a book to a blind person or deliver food to somebody in need. We're not going to question it. We're just going to know that we're going to do positive things. And you're a part of that, if you choose. We are going into a golden era where we're all waking up and saying, we will not accept the abuses of our nature, our animals, or anything else. I think it's ironic when I see that, I support all these agencies that go over and stop the abuses of animals, such as dog meat farms and that. And they rescue them from the slaughterhouse. And I think, isn't that funny? Not so much. That's going on here and it's legal. It's not dogs, it's other animals that go into slaughterhouses and are treated just the same way. We're changing all that. Factory farming is going out of business. That's supposed to be happening in the next few years. But nothing will exist if we're not supporting it. And so, I was actually told a few years ago through my messages that I receive that I don't need to eat. That you literally don't need to eat when you go into a certain frequency. And so if I were to elevate to that, just like you, we actually wouldn't need to eat anymore. That is a physical dense activity that will not be needed when you go into the higher frequency, because your body will actually be able to live off of nature, the sun, the air, the energy fields. We will actually be able to live like breatharians claim to never eat. This is all possible. You're going to see more of that happening, and it's not going to be so cray-cray. Now, it's so important for you to be okay with that world and not be afraid of it, because it's going to be what dominates. It's going to start to dominate. The tipping point into the positive frequencies, the solutions for our health, all of these things are going to come to the head of everybody's attention. People that are participating in the organizations and corporations and all these institutions that know that these things that are going on are wrong are going to step out. A lot of doctors who are told to do things that they don't believe in because it's money driven will now step out, and instead of placing themselves and their income and their safety first, are going to be stepping out into that unknown zone and saying it's not okay, I'm not going to do it, and create a completely new way of life for us. And so we're not going to be threatened like we were before. The control is starting to pull off because enough of us are bringing our attention to the positive choices that are being made. So if there's darkness that interferes with that, we'll just be more powerful if they try to do anything to stop us. Why? Because then it just brings more attention to the causes of the light. That's all, because none of us can truly expire. There's nothing to ever be afraid of. We have to, as a community, come together and not turn on one another. We have to stop arguing about our opinions. You can have an opinion. It doesn't have to be an argument, right? And so if we allow ourselves to be expressive and we see the best and the light in the other. And we know that we don't have all those answers, but that we will be the best facilitator of whatever goodness we can bring out there, right? Neither good nor bad. It's not until there's a challenge that allows us to be good. And so their darkness allows us to demonstrate that we can make a higher choice and place the other first. Because we haven't been. We're afraid. We won't give up our fast food. We won't give up all these other things that we know are bad. So we fuel those very things that we complain about. We wonder why we have all these illnesses. It's pretty easy to figure out the root of all of it. And so if you pull those roots out, what do you have? A new beginning. And that's what we're going into. I want you to rest assured that something beautiful is happening and that you should be excited because the opportunities for you are huge. And I hope that you will come over and go into Manifest Anything. It's free. It's down in the description. I take you through how to understand your power, how to move past the fears that are, have been, ingrained in us, how to start to use that magic, because you hold magic to manifest anything. And that world is here. And you're going to see it accelerate in the most amazing way. And whole big groups of people are going to look at what's been going on and say, that's not cool. And we are not going to participate. And we're going to protect our children. And we're going to start to look at social media and understand that we can't just let that run rampant like everything else has been allowed. We're going to look at nature and say it's not okay to destroy certain things or to pollute certain things. And so we have to be very cognizant of everything we do every day. Am I fueling an industry that's destructive by using this product or eating this or anything? Now it's up to you, and you will change the world. It's already happening. So get excited. 2022 is going to be amazing, and that's just the start. Next few years, huge transition. Some things will dissolve. There's going to be some interesting things in science and spirituality that will be mind-blowing. It's already happening. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful. Please subscribe to my channel, Loving, Harmonious, and Happy. I'm sending you blessings, my friend. Namaste.